My name is Arnie Roblan, for the record. I'm representing from House District 9. This bill comes to you at the request of some really great people from the area of Florence, Oregon. And as each of you know, it's sometimes difficult to say yes or no to constituents about any particular bill that comes forward to us, and we get a lot of questions asked. And so I wanted to give you a little scenario of how this has happened with me. My first indication generally with a bill when it comes from a request, especially when it costs any money, is to say we don't have any money, it's not really, I don't know. But we have a group of veterans here, and I'm going to introduce, and they'll introduce them to you, who have been persistent in a very positive way over a number of months, I think probably even a year now or so, 2 years, about preserving some history on the coast with regard to veterans. And they have gone through all the processes of raising their own money, getting property, fixing that property, buying a building but not having it put up, all of those things. And they have shown me the progress. They have brought me to meetings where they've gone through and done exactly what they're doing. And the last thing they wanted was to ask for any money. They wanted to do this all on their own. That was their whole goal and whatever. And then they ran into the same issues that all of us do. Where it's located, there are permits that have to be done. There's other kinds of things. They thought they had resources to do almost everything that they needed to do. They ran into issues with the property and wetlands and all the things that all of us know about. And they continued to go after the problem one step at a time to solve those problems for themselves. And at the end, probably a month, 2 months ago, just before the session was starting, I had just asked, is there anything I can do for you? And they said, well, there actually is. And one of the members who was here came and said and sat down and talked about what they would need and how that could go. And I said, okay. I asked, I'll put in a bill. And so what you're going to hear today is a little bit about that and the effort that these people have put together. Sam Spayd is sitting next to me. He's the president of the organization that continues to work with people in the Florence community, and it's pretty remarkable actually what they've done, and the commitment from people in chunks as little as $5 to keep putting this together and talking to people and going to any group that wants to listen to have the conversations. And I thought we needed to hear how local groups of people work together to try to preserve the history and show their grandchildren and other children the efforts that went on before them. So with that, I'll turn it over to Sam Spayd.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Representative Roblan. I'm pleased to be here to present the Oregon Coast Military Heritage Museum to you. I'm Thomas F. Sam Spayd, nickname I got in the service. I'm a Florence resident, president of the Oregon Coast Military Heritage Museum, and I'm a 30-year veteran of the Air Force. I'm a veteran of Vietnam as well as Desert Storm. And I'd like to have the other members of the panel here introduce themselves now.
Hi, I'm Tim Sapp, Vietnam veteran from Florence.
Yes, and my name is Paul Gargis, retired Army, 21 years, 2 tours in Vietnam.
It's funny when we're talking to Arnie there, and he says a few months ago, and he starts saying a year, and then he starts saying 2 years. I think up here you know how things seem to go on, and we've been actually working 2 years since we came up with the idea of forming what we call the Kilroy Corps. Now, some of you folks may have known who Kilroy was from World War II. Kilroy was here, that sort of thing. So we decided, since we had 21% of the population of Florence are veterans, we started putting out the word that we were going to form the Kilroy Corps. And the purpose of that was to create the Oregon Coast Military Heritage Museum. Big long name, we're kind of shortening it down to the Kilroy Corps. The idea was that there are no military museums in this part of the state. Nearest one we have is there's an Air and Space Museum in Eugene, and of course McMinnville is up the road, and also Tillamook. But those are the nearest museums we have to the Florence area and the South Coast area there. So we started this effort with the Kilroy Corps. Initially, it was to get information out to the people and get interest going, so we said be a $20 fee to join the Kilroy Corps. Well, we started that, and then right away people came to us and said, well, I want to give more. So then we started the Century Corps. for anybody with $100 or more. And it's grown now that we have 450 people have donated money, some people as much as $5,000 because they believe in what we're doing. And it's been a pleasure on our part to drive this effort. There's 10 of us on the board, and we work hard at this. We're all volunteers. We have collected $54,000 now, and the problem that we're having is that because of escalating fees, it's going to cost us about $34,000 to $35,000 for just the permits from the city of Florence. And also the electrical PUD wants to charge us $7,000 for electrical hookup for the facilities. We're trying to talk to them about being a non-profit organization, and can they get some help from that, and they're not leaning that way very much at all right now. But we're hoping that in the future we'll get some discounts from that, but right now it doesn't look very promising. We are amazed at the support we're getting from the community. And I'd like to turn the microphone over to Tim Sapp to tell you a little bit about, he's in charge of the production and the building of the building and cooperation with the local engineers and excavators that are helping with the initial plans for the building. So Tim, would you like to talk about that?
Thank you. We have got lots of help from the community. A lot of the veterans have chipped in. We have I'll just update you, we have the the property is secured from the city, and we have the ground cleared for where the building will sit. We have some more clearing to do, but we have that cleared and filled and ready to go. We've turned in some the building plans to the city, but we need some finances to get them out of there. We've traveled a long ways. We have purchased a 4,000 square foot metal building, and we're going to add a stick building next to it that'll make 5,000 square feet for the museum. And it's neat to see the veterans all turn out, but we have come up a little short. I was thinking about what I might say, and sitting in the back there, it just reminded me of occasionally when I was in Vietnam, and we were out, and we spent a lot of time out in the jungle, but we'd get in a firefight once in a while, and you'd run short of ammo, and you could always go back to the base, and if you could make it there and fill up again. But it kind of reminded me of this situation. We've come a long ways, and we've fought this for a couple of years now, and we're to the point where we're getting low on ammo, and so we've come here to ask for help, and we appreciate the time you're taking to listen to us.
I think one further important thing.
Excuse me, gentlemen, but every time you turn that mic, you should introduce yourself again for the record.
Okay, very well. Thomas F. Spayd from Florence, Oregon. I think one of the important things about this museum is the fact, as we all know, that the fishing and the forestry industry is not very prevalent in the Florence area now, and tourism is becoming a bigger thing, a bigger draw for money into the area, and that's one of the side benefits of having this museum. Our motto at the museum is to honor our veterans by educating the public, and one of the things we want to do is the 21% of the veterans in the Florence area, we want to honor them by educating the public. So we're working on some educational programs already, even though we don't have a museum, with the local schools. I went down to Scottsdale, Arizona in November and worked a deal with Joe Foss Institute, which is nationwide. They work with veterans in getting into the schools and talking to the schools about liberty, about patriotism, about integrity, and they have the veterans talk to the students and bring them
my name is Paul Gargis, retired Army, 2 tours Vietnam vet. In addition to
current issues of what's going on with the veterans and how they live their lives after they came home. So one of the important things in tying in with that is we're getting into our local schools, and hopefully all of Western Oregon will be able to get into the schools and talk about those very same things tied in with the Joe Foss Institute. Another thing too is that because of the draw of the museum, we're hoping and we're sure that it's going to increase the tourist industry in the area. It's going to increase the spending of money in the area by people passing through by tourism, and we think that that's going to be a huge benefit to the whole Central Coast area in the completion of the museum. Paul, would you like to add anything?
In the public, of course, we're going to be custodian of the equipment that we're going to store and display to the public. I already have obtained an application for a static display, such as an artillery piece or a tank, and we're going to try to get that from Fort McCoy. One of the things that I do notice, and I see you're a Vietnam vet, you know, we went for years, the Korean War veterans, the Forgotten War, and us guys in Vietnam, about the only person we talked to was other vets, because no one really understood where we were coming from, where we'd been, what we'd done. And today with the Afghanistan Iraqi thing, you see that if you look around, because of you people sitting here today, you see all kind of Korean War vet caps, Vietnam veteran caps you've never seen before. All these guys are coming out and they're displaying their pride in their country and what they did and where they were. And I think this museum is going to do a whole heck of a lot getting more of these guys out, talking to each other, and donating equipment for our museum that we're going to need. And I can say I'm proud to have been invited to serve in this capacity.
Thomas Spayd, one important closing remark that I would like to make is that we're losing up to 1,500 World War II veterans a day in this country. And another amazing statistic that I just saw recently, because people kind of hear that one, but from the 2000 census, we're losing 390 Vietnam War veterans a day in this country now. And that's a phenomenal number. When I thought that the World War II veterans was a huge number, but then I started thinking, those are the people that I fought with, and they're my compatriots and my age. Losing 390 of them a day, and that's from the 2000 census. Anything else?
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for your testimony, but more importantly, thank you for your service and welcome home, soldiers.
Thank you very much, sir.